In the haze of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, beneath the vibrant marquees and the heady scent of popcorn, a distinct form of entertainment pulled in crowds like moths to a flame: the mysterious world of freak shows. Giants, dwarfs, and human anomalies like Joseph Merrick found themselves exhibited in circus tents and dime museums across America and Europe. But have you ever stopped to reflect on what existence was like for those who stood beneath the spotlight? Join us as we look at 15 circus freaks from history that will shock you. Number 15. Joyce Heth. Joyce Heth had no abnormality except that she was extremely old, exactly what a young P.T. Barnum was searching for. In 1835, he billed her as 161 years old and boldly claimed that she had cared for young George Washington when he was a child. These claims were entirely false. Heth was not 161 years old and had never once met George Washington. She was an enslaved woman, and Barnum had paid her owner $1,000 to tour her around the United States for one full year. She sang for paying patrons and told fabricated stories about Washington. Barnum added more lies as time went on. When preachers protested his exploitation, he claimed she was no longer a slave, or even that she was not human at all, but a mechanical creation of whale bones and leather. The exhausting tour destroyed her frail health, and she died in February 1836. Barnum then profited further, selling tickets to her public autopsy. Well, that's inhuman. Number 14. The Tocci brothers. Giacomo and Giovanni were born in Italy in 1877 and went on to become the longest living conjoined twins, reaching 63 years of age. Joined at the sixth rib, they shared one lower body, but had separate organs above the waist, including hearts, lungs, and stomachs. Each controlled one leg, which meant they could walk only together. Despite this, they were intelligent, multilingual, and musically inclined, with Giovanni noted as the more artistic and Giacomo as more talkative. Their parents, initially horrified, quickly realized the twins' marketability. Touring Europe and later America, they were promoted as the two-headed boy, or the wonderful blended twins. They earned enormous sums. By 1891, nearly $1,000 weekly, which is equivalent to $25,000 today. Although unable to stand alone, they fascinated doctors and audiences alike, even earning a feature in Scientific American. Their differing personalities occasionally led to fistfights, but overall, they cooperated remarkably well. Their fame endured for decades, cementing them as unique icons in sideshow history. Rest in peace, Tocci brothers. Number 13. George Alexander Grattan. George Alexander Grattan was born in 1808 on St. Vincent to enslaved African parents. His striking appearance, caused by piebaldism, left patches of pale skin across his dark complexion, making him an immediate curiosity. His owner, recognizing the child's potential value, placed him in the care of overseer Mr. Grattan, who gave George his surname. By infancy, he was displayed for public viewing on the island at a fee of $1. At 15 months old, he was taken to England and sold to showman Mr. Richardson for the staggering price of 1,000 guineas. Richardson treated him kindly, showcasing him throughout fairs and private exhibitions, where George was admired not only for his unusual skin, but also his intelligence and charm. Marketed as the beautiful spotted Negro boy, he performed tirelessly, sometimes up to 12 hours a day. Tragically, his grueling schedule weakened him. In 1813, at just 4 years old, George died of a severe infection. He was buried with care in Great Marlow, Buckinghamshire. Number 12. Katie Sanduina. Katharina Katie Sanduina was born in Vienna in 1884 into a circus family renowned for extraordinary strength. Among her siblings, Katie became the star. She often offered 100 marks to any man who could defeat her in wrestling. None ever succeeded. During one match, she even gained a husband, Max Heyman, who entered the ring confidently, but awoke outside after being easily bested. Katie's greatest fame came during a contest against celebrated bodybuilder Eugen Sandow in New York. Both lifted increasingly heavy weights until Sandow failed to raise 300 pounds, while Katie hoisted it overhead with one arm. From then, she was known as Sandwina, the feminine counterpart to Sandow. Touring with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, she amazed crowds by carrying horses, cannons, and even supporting 14 people on her shoulders. Later, she and Max ran a New York restaurant, where she entertained patrons by bending steel bars or carrying him in one arm. She retired at 64 and died in 1952. Number 11. Zulema Agra. Zulema Agra became the first of Barnum's famed Circassian ladies, though little is known of her personally. Unlike most sideshow figures, she likely had no deformity at all, but was simply a performer cast in a role created by P.T. Barnum. In the mid-19th century, Circassian women were mythologized as the pinnacle of beauty, fair-skinned, delicate, and exoticized in Western imagination through stories of Turkish harems. In 1864, Barnum ordered an associate to procure a Circassian woman, but when the attempt failed, he simply invented one. He named her Zulema Agra, the Star of the East, dressed her in embroidered gowns and jewels, gave her a Christian cross, and insisted she wash her hair in beer and comb it into a wide halo. This eccentric hairstyle became the signature look of Circassian ladies across America, though it bore no resemblance to actual women of the Caucasus. What Barnum achieved was a living embodiment of the era's idealized white purity, a spectacle that sideshows eagerly imitated. Number 10. Myrtle Corbin. Myrtle Corbin was born in Tennessee in 1868 and became one of the most famous circus performers of her era, known as the four-legged girl from Texas. She was born with dipigus, a rare condition that gave her a duplicated pelvis and an additional set of smaller legs from a parasitic twin that failed to fully develop. At just 13, she entered the sideshow circuit, quickly gaining fame for her distinctive anatomy. Although advertised as a curiosity, Myrtle's life was not solely defined by exhibition. She moved to Texas, where she spent most of her career performing in circuses and dime museums, drawing large audiences eager to see her unusual form. Despite the spectacle, Myrtle lived a fulfilling life, marrying and raising children while maintaining her career. She lived to the age of 59, remembered as a fascinating figure whose resilience and adaptability made her one of the most enduring performers in sideshow history. Number 8. Ella Harper. Ella was born in 1870 and lived with a rare orthopedic condition called genu recurvatum, which caused her knees to bend backward. This gave her a gait more suited to walking on all fours, earning her the nickname Camel Girl. By the age of 9, she entered the sideshow circuit under the management of W.H. Harris, quickly becoming a sensation of the 1880s. Advertisements hailed her as a marvel, and posters displayed her unique posture as something both wondrous and strange. Despite her success in the spotlight, Ella longed for a quieter life. In 1886, she left the circus to pursue education and step away from public exhibition. Her decision marked her as unusual among sideshow figures, choosing a different path outside the stage. Records indicate that she later married and lived away from fame. Ella is still in people heart. Number 8. Felix Verla. Felix found early in life that his body had good flexibility. He could stretch his skin to extreme lengths and bend his limbs in ways that defied normal anatomy. Audiences compared his skin to elastic, and his contortions often left spectators unsettled, yet amazed. His unusual abilities likely stemmed from Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a condition that weakens connective tissue, creating great flexibility and loose joints. Felix transformed this curse into a successful career, performing in circuses and dime museums, including appearances with the Ringling Brothers. His act drew large crowds fascinated by his seemingly supernatural elasticity. He was both celebrated and pitied, a figure who demonstrated the strange potential of the human body while also bearing the difficulties of his disorder. Felix is remembered as one of the most distinctive sideshow performers, a man who used his rare condition to captivate audiences and secure his place in circus history. Number 7. Cuckoo, the Bird Girl. Minnie Woolsey, known on stage as Cuckoo the Bird Girl, was born in 1880 in Georgia with Burkow-Sekel syndrome, a condition also referred to as bird-headed dwarfism. The disorder gave her distinctive features, including a small head, large eyes, a beak-like nose, and a recessed jaw. Despite these differences, Cuckoo's charisma and energy made her a captivating performer. On stage, she often wore feathery costumes with plumes and tiaras, accentuating her bird-like appearance. Her routines involved eccentric dances, flapping movements, and playful antics that delighted audiences. Cuckoo became widely recognized after appearing in Todd Browning's 1932 film Freaks, where she performed her signature dance in a bird costume. Beyond the spectacle, she was remembered for her cheerful spirit and her ability to charm those around her. Though her life remains only partially documented, Cuckoo the Bird Girl endures in memory as one of the most distinctive and charismatic performers of her generation. Number 6. James Morris. James, born in 1859, earned notoriety as the Rubber Man because of his condition, EDS. His unusually elastic skin could stretch nearly 46 centimeters from his body without causing him pain. This rare ability fascinated spectators, and he quickly found steady work in circuses, performing with Ringling Brothers. His acts thrilled audiences, but EDS also left his skin vulnerable to scarring and welts, which inevitably worsened after years of performances. As fame faded, Morris sought income as a barber, though he turned increasingly to alcohol and gambling, struggling to cope with obscurity. By the early 1900s, he had largely vanished from public notice. His ultimate fate is uncertain, though many with EDS face life-threatening complications before middle age. Morris's story reflects the fragile line between sideshow wonder and human suffering. His body, both his livelihood and eventual downfall in a world eager for spectacle. Number 5. Grady Stiles. Grady, later infamous as Lobster Boy, was born with ectrodactyly, a genetic condition that fused his fingers and toes into claw-like shapes. Relied on a wheelchair, he developed great upper body strength and used it in his sideshow performances. Yet outside the circus, he descended into alcoholism and violence, gaining a reputation for cruelty toward his family. In 1978, his temper turned fatal when he shot and killed his daughter's fiancé. Though convicted, he received probation rather than prison, since authorities claimed no facility could manage his condition. His unchecked brutality continued until 1992, when his wife, Mary, arranged for a teenage sideshow performer to kill him. In 1993, Stiles was shot dead in his home, ending decades of abuse and terror. Both feared and despised, his life showed how fame, deformity, and addiction combined into a dark legacy that scarred not just him, but everyone closest to him. Number 4. Alice Elizabeth Doherty. Alice Doherty, born on March 14, 1887 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, became widely known as the Werewolf Girl. She was born with hypertrichosis lanuginosa, an extremely rare genetic condition that caused a thick layer of soft lanugo hair to cover her entire body. From a young age, her unusual appearance drew immense public attention, and her parents chose to exhibit her in sideshows where she quickly gained recognition. Despite the exposure, Alice lived surrounded by the love and care of her family. Her striking appearance made her a popular attraction in circuses of the time, where she was promoted under her memorable nickname. Though placed in the public eye, she carried herself with dignity and resilience, using her condition to help support her family. Alice Doherty is remembered not only for her rare disorder, but for the way she transformed difference into livelihood, leaving behind a story of grace and endurance. Number 3. Pauline Musters. Pauline, born in the Netherlands in 1876, became world famous as the smallest woman on Earth. Measuring only 58 centimeters tall at full height, she captivated audiences throughout Europe and beyond. Despite her tiny stature, Pauline had a lively presence and cheerful spirit that made her beloved by those who saw her perform. She toured in circuses and variety shows, astonishing crowds not only for her size, but for her charm and personality. Posters hailed her as a wonder of nature, and she quickly became an international attraction. Though often exhibited, she was admired for her grace and character, qualities that set her apart from other performers of her time. Sadly, Pauline's life was short. She died in 1895 at just 19 years old from pneumonia and meningitis. Her name remains one of the most iconic in sideshow history, remembered as a lady who turned her rare stature into worldwide recognition and affection. Number 2. Martin Laurel. Martin, famously known as the Owl Man, possessed a weird ability that left audiences stunned. He could rotate his head 180 degrees, gazing directly behind without moving his body. This rare skill was not a trick, but the result of a unique physical condition fused with years of disciplined practice that allowed him to dislocate vertebrae without injury. Born in Germany, Laurel later immigrated to the United States, where he became a celebrated figure in variety shows and circuses. His act consistently drew fascination, as crowds were captivated by the unsettling yet astonishing sight of a man twisting his head completely backward. Laurel's performances challenged the public's understanding of human limits, making him a highlight in the world of curiosity shows. He is remembered today as one of the most enigmatic sideshow performers, a man whose determination and remarkable ability secured him a lasting place in entertainment history. Number 1. Jumbo. On Easter Sunday in 1882, P.T. Barnum introduced Jumbo the elephant to New York audiences at Madison Square Garden, just in time for the grand opening of the greatest show on Earth. Towering at 12 feet tall at the shoulders and weighing 6.5 tons, Jumbo was unlike anything Americans had seen before. His immense size and gentle nature turned him into the circus's most celebrated star, generating enormous revenue. Within 6 weeks of his debut, he had helped the show gross $336,000, a staggering sum for the era. The elephant traveled in regal style, riding in a crimson and gold railroad car aptly named Jumbo's Palace Car, complete with massive double doors to accommodate his bulk. His popularity was so immense that his name became synonymous with anything gigantic, giving rise to the modern use of the word jumbo. Tragically, Jumbo's life ended on September 15, 1885, in St. Thomas, Ontario, when he was struck and killed by a freight train. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.